So another basic principle of mixing that's extremely important is panning. So what panning allows us to do is choose where in the stereo image each of our parts sit. So in a mix, you will want certain parts, such as the kick, snare and vocals, to be in the centre of the stereo image, but you may want other parts, such as a shaker or other percussion, to be in the left or right hand side. It's important to get a nice stereo spread in your songs, as it can make them sound wider and also make different parts of the song sound more interesting. So adjusting panning is very easy. We can do it in the arrangement view with this slider here, but again, I do find it easier to go back to the session view. So again, I'm just going to start with the drums. So I'm going to open up the drums and solo them. So as I mentioned a minute ago, there are a few parts that you should generally leave in the centre of your mix. So the kick and the snare I'm going to leave in the centre. Very occasionally you may want to pan these parts to different positions, but in almost all commercial music, the kick and snare will stay central. One other thing to note, in a lot of genres of music, I would usually pan the hi-hats to one side. However, in trap, hi-hats are a very important part of the music, so I'd recommend leaving it in the centre. So now we've narrowed down a few parts, I'm just going to pan some of the other percussion. One thing to note, the pan control goes from 0 to 50. So 50R is all the way to the right, 50L is all the way to the left. If you double click, you can set it back to central once again. Okay, so having those parts panned out to the sides can help give a bit more interest and leave a bit more space in the middle for the central parts. So let's just listen back with the rest of the track.
When you got a dream, you gotta keep going for it. When you got a dream, you gotta keep pushing for it.
One thing you may notice, see how the maraca part seems to stick out of the mix quite a lot now. This can sometimes happen when you apply panning. So if this is the case, just go back and adjust your levels once again.
When you got a dream, you gotta keep going for it. When you got a dream, you gotta keep pushing for it. Even when them roadblocks come, even when it gets hard, that's when you press harder. Yeah, you gotta level up, you gotta keep climbing, get your hustle up.
Okay, I think that sounds a bit more appropriate now. Now, another tip for when panning. What can work quite well is panning things in pairs. So if you have two parts that take up similar areas in the frequency spectrum, you could pan those left and right. For example, we have these two different guitar parts in the break section here, and it might sound nice panning them slightly left and slightly right. So let's give that a go. I'm just going to do it from within the arrangement view this time.
So I look up to the stars daily. Man, I'm wishing on a star maybe, but I gotta wake up, cause money don't sleep. While you got your eyes closed, man, I never go to sleep. Cause when they chasing, I'm running. While they waiting, I'm earning. Call it rain, cause I'm spending. Y'all ain't got patience,
So as these parts are vaguely similar, having one pan to the left and one pan to the right doesn't make the mix seem unbalanced. If one of these was way louder than the other, or one was much bassier and the other was much brighter, this might not work so well. But as they're similar parts in the left and right speaker, it doesn't draw your attention to one side too much. So I've just soloed them both here.
You got your eyes closed, man, I never go to sleep. Cause when they chasing, I'm running. While they waiting, I'm earning. Call it rain, cause I'm spending. Y'all ain't got patience,
See how the mix sounded quite a lot wider when we had those parts panned left and right. So again, I'm just going to put these back to 25 left and 25 right. Now you may have noticed that I didn't pan these all the way to the left or all the way to the right. This is because I want to make the chorus the widest section of the song. This is a common trick that people use when making chorus the biggest section of the track. So again, I'm going to find two parts that are similar in terms of frequency. So these two parts here, the arpeggio and the melody, are both quite high parts. So I feel like these will probably be a good pair to pan left and right. As I said before, I want to make the choruses the widest sections of the track, so I'm going to pan these all the way to the left and all the way to the right.
Gets hard, that's when you press harder. Yeah, you gotta level up, you gotta keep.
Okay, that sounds pretty good to me. Again, the track doesn't sound off balance. Now something else we've not looked at yet is the vocals. So we've got our lead vocals for the chorus section here, but then we've got a number of backing vocals. So these two parts here are very similar, and so are these two. Let's just have a listen to them.
I just wanna know, I just wanna blow.
So these are pretty much a perfect pair. So I'm going to pan these to the left and to the right. And these two vocals at the bottom.
I just wanna know.
Again, these are the same part sung twice. So I'm going to pan them to the left and right. Now if we listen to this section.
That's why you're falling. I just wanna know. I just wanna know. I just wanna know. I just want everything in life, everything in life. I just want everything and more. Oh, I just wanna know. I just wanna know. I just wanna know.
See there, we've got our lead vocal in the centre, keeping our focus in the middle. But then when we've got these harmonies, they're panned left and right, giving the track a wider stereo image. Now, something I'd recommend you do is listen through to your whole track after you've made these panning decisions, because at some points there may be a section of your track which sounds unbalanced. So remember I panned the arpeggio and melody left and right earlier, because in the choruses they're both playing at the same time. But if we go to this section here and listen back.
So I look up to the stars daily. Man, I'm wishing on a star maybe, but I gotta wake up, cause
The melody is playing on its own and it's panned all the way to the right. So this could be pushing the mix off balance. So in these sort of situations, I'd recommend using automation. So I'm just going to open up my automation lanes by pressing A, and I'm going to click on the pan control. Now I can adjust the panning with automation. So I'm going to click and drag to make a selection of the area I'd like to change, and I'm going to pull down this automation line and bring it close to the centre. Let's have a listen to that.
while you got your eyes closed, man, I never go to sleep. Cause when they chasing, I'm running. While they waiting, I'm earning. Call it rain, cause I'm spending. Y'all ain't got patience, that's why y'all falling, that's why y'all falling,
I think I prefer it in the centre like this. You can right-click to edit the value to set it back to 0 if you wish. So it's going to be central through the break section and then pan for the rest of the track. Okay, we now have a good foundation for our mix. Most of the levels and panning seem appropriate. You can always go in and make changes to the volume and panning decisions anytime if you feel it's necessary. Sometimes when you start EQing, it may make certain parts stick out of the mix, so you may need to adjust the levels. Thanks for watching.